But I've gotten a bunch of questions about once you get your books into Calibre, kind of what can you do with them? Like cleaning up our books, making it easier to find things, how to sort things about. So let's jump over into my Calibre and I'll show you some things. I'll try to answer some of the questions that I get most often. And if I'm hey. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, it's been a while since we've gotten in here and talked about Calibre, and I've gotten a bunch of questions about, so we've talked about what Calibre is, how to get our books into Calibre. We've done some sort of deep diving on how to organize our Calibre, how to make it cute. But I've gotten a bunch of questions about once you get your books into Calibre, kind of what can you do with them? Like cleaning up our books, making it easier to find things, how to sort things about. So with no further ado, let's jump over into my Calibre and I'll show you some things. I'll try to answer some of the questions that I get most often. And if I miss your questions, because I'm inevitably going to miss some, drop them in the comments and I'll try to catch them on the next one, okay? So for right now, let's jump over to Calibre and get started. All right, y'all, let's jump into this thing. Now, the question that I get, if not the most often, close to the most often, is, well, let me just show you. So let's just take a book. Let me plug in a Kindle. So I'm going to plug in my Colorsoft. And Calibre should see it. Okay, so there it is. It sees my Kindle. Sorry, I had to stop and take a call, so I'm not sure exactly what I've told you so far, but the question that I get all the time is, when you send a book from Calibre to your Kindle. So this one I have in KFX. So I'm going to delete this KFX format because the question is, when you send an EPUB book to Kindle, watch what happens. Oh, I keep going to library. Hang on. There it is. Send to main memory. So I'm sending it to my device. I don't know what it's trying to convert it to, but let's see what happens. And so let's look and make sure it's on my device. Book of Rules. Okay, there it is on my device. So let's eject the device. Oh, it converted it to AZW3. Let's see if it's going to do what I want it to do here. Okay, yeah, look. See how it's, see, there it is right there. Hang on. Let me switch to like normal human view for a minute. See there how it's like not a cute cover of the book, but if we do it this way, watch. Now, I'm going to go to, I'm going to just open, I'm going to see if I can do this where y'all can see it. I'm just going to open a browser and then go to Amazon and go to my send. Here, I'll do it here where you can see it. Send to Kindle. And if you do this where you're logged into your Kindle, it'll send you right to your send to Kindle. So there's my send to Kindle. Now, I'm going to turn this back. I'm going to get rid of that AZW3. Oops. Because of course that's going to show up cute on a Kindle. So I'm going to delete that. Because what I want to show you is how to send an EPUB. Because see, look, on here, the EPUB has a cute cover, right? And because I'm doing it on a Colorsoft, the cover is in color. So, but when it shows up on here, the cover is not showing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that EPUB over to my send to Kindle right there, drop it in. Hit send. Y'all don't judge me for what I send, but you see right there, it's sending it as an EPUB. Okay, so we're going to leave that alone and let it go. It's going to take a little minute because it's doing like all kinds of Amazon magic in the background. All right, while that's doing, you can see right there that's still like, it's still processing. So we're going to leave that alone. I know I could just edit it and put it in here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that alone and let that run. And we'll go back and check that in a minute. In the meantime, I've had lots of questions about, we've talked about metadata before, how to fix our metadata. And I don't know if it's just me, but y'all, I don't trust doing like letting it just fix itself, because maybe it's because I pick sketchy books, but sometimes when I do that, it comes up with the, like, this is a little bit strange of a book, but there we go. It's actually, it finished itself. So see how it says it's in my library? So now it takes it a second to decide where it wants to be, but okay, so now I took out that other download and now it's showing up there and it just looks that same old ugly blue, but look what happens. When I touch it, it opens, and now look, there's the cover. So all you have to do is use your send to Kindle to send it as an EPUB. Amazon does its magic in the background, and then it'll come up with the book covers. There was something else I was going to tell y'all about that. What else was I going to say about that? I forgot what. Oh, I've only been able to get it to work using the Send to Kindle, either the Send to Kindle app that I have on my computer or the website. I can't get it to work using a Send to Kindle email, but I can never get those Send to Kindle emails to work anyway. So there's that. Now, let's talk about metadata. So we've talked about how the metadata is like all the other stuff, right? So you have, typically when you get a book, it comes in with, like, no matter, within reason, no matter what the book is, it's going to come in with like the title, the author, and a few other things, but a lot of times all the other stuff is going to be missing. So you can right click, hit edit metadata, and if you go to download metadata and covers, I do download both. And then down here you see where it says jobs are jobbing. Oh, while it's doing that, let's talk about this. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but if you have a color Kindle, if the books so I drag most of my books in off of a Kindle into my Calibre. If I drag them in using my color soft, the covers come in color. If you do it using a black and white Kindle, the covers, have y'all read Atmosphere? Oh my gosh, what a fantastic book. But if you do it using a black and white Kindle, the covers come in black and white, but then you can just replace them in your metadata. Okay, look, I can show you right here how to replace them. So, review metadata. Now, we've talked about this before. The right side is stuff so if I just hit OK, all of this is going to be in there. So often, if the dates don't correspond, I'll go back and check and see which one is right, but I don't really care all that much right now. So if I click the arrow, it's going to drag the information in from the right-hand column over into the left-hand column. And I can just hit OK. And now you see all my metadata is there. And you can do, where is it? Edit metadata. I can have it generate covers. And I believe those are not cute at all. Lord have mercy, those aren't cute. Let's cancel all that. Can I go back to my original? I'm going to cancel that. Yes, cancel that. That's not what I wanted to do. So I can do, like, if I brought it in black and white, I don't know if any of my books are black and white. All right, I just added a black and white. I just added a black and white book on purpose so that I plugged in my black and white Kindle so that we could do this quickly together. So if you're using a black and white Kindle and dragging your books into Calibre from your black and white Kindle, they're going to come in black and white, not in color. Obvi, right? So let's try this. If I edit my metadata and, oh, it's the wrong Kindle. I just did the thing that I told y'all to never do. I tried to use a different Kindle. I didn't have my serial number in my DDRM, and so I got the so I had to go and add my serial number quickly, but now it's all good. I did it. So back up, pretend that all didn't just happen, and we have a black and white book cover. So I did edit metadata, download metadata and covers, download both. Job is jobbing, review and download metadata, and there we have her. So Couple things, this and that. Definitely a high 4 ranking on this book. It is so, so good. I'm sure I already have this book in there, but for some reason it didn't recognize it, which is good because now we see that we can simply do that and fix our book covers. Bam. So what else? Somebody else asked me about rankings. How do I get, like, how do you do your rankings for your books? It comes in, of course, with your metadata, but you can also just, like, let me find one that I know, like, The Firm is definitely a 4-star book. So if you just click on it, it gets your stars and you just click there and book is now rated. I think that was the question. I don't know. I went back and asked what the person was actually asking. So if it was you and that's not what you meant, let me know and I'll try to answer your actual question. But yeah, you can just add your ratings that way. So how ugly is that? Okay, we're not doing that. We're not doing this. Let's talk about, okay, I'm just going to do this for a couple of books because I get all sucked into this. I started to talk about this before and then got sucked into something else, but you can edit your metadata in chunks. So, and I will get sucked in, so I'm not going to do a bunch. I'm only going to do about 3. So I've highlighted 3 books. I'm going to right click, say edit metadata. I think if I just do download and edit. All right, let's see. Review downloaded metadata. Time to Kill. Definitely want that cover. Grisham, blah, blah, blah. Yes, okay, that's right. English. Brigance, yes. Okay, so now look, see down here it says next. Are y'all seeing that? Hang on, let me scooch this up some. See down here it says next. Because I did a chunk of 3 books, it's going to take me through each one, which is nice because I want to make sure that they're all correct. And I think I've never done like block. Let us know in the comments. If you do like block, like there's one that says like do it in a block or whatever. If you do that, does it not let you check them before you okay it? Because, y'all, sometimes these are just straight up wrong. Like the ISBN will be wrong or something. And see, it'll let me accept all remaining. No. Okay, good. They're done. All right, good. So that's metadata. Let's get out of all of these Kindles. And let me check my list because I really did look and see what people wanted to talk about. Okay, we did clean up metadata, adding rankings. Okay, tags. So I've been asked about how to group books by series. And I'm not sure what the question there is because let's go to a series. So if a book is in a series, it's in your metadata. Up here at the top, the series is in your metadata, and then Calibre will group them together by series. So another way, so I mean, that's like the obvious way to group books by series. You can be a little sassier and make your own series because you can type in the name of the series. So if you want to group books together on your own, you can like make up your own names of series and put books into them. Or tags is a good way to do it. Now, when you import metadata, let's look at, do I have the same book twice? I do. Brilliant, Danielle. Let's look at the metadata on this book. So it's, if you look down here, it's tagged romance, contemporary, adult. Knowing Tessa Bailey, it's probably a little spicy, but I don't know. I have not read this one yet. But we can probably also call it sports romance, which I'm surprised that didn't have a tag. So there are like a bunch of pre-made tags in here that you can pick for your books. And yeah, I'm surprised that sports romance isn't in here. So you can sort your books by tag. So if you're like, I'm going to embarrass myself doing this. If you're like, I want to read a rom-com. it'll pull up your books that are tagged rom-coms. Or I'm not gonna dig into any other tags, but so you can sort them by tag. You can obviously add your own tags, which I just did. Or I love this. I've just started doing this, obviously, because I only have a little tiny bit of it, but you can sort your books by genre. And I think that's a far more sophisticated way to do it than making up your own series. And here's how this works. So genre, you can see over here is a column. So here's how you do this. Let me get out of here. Here's how you do this. Okay, so I'm gonna go up in the upper left-hand corner and hit Calibre. Well, at least on a Mac. I'm not sure how you do it on a Windows machine, but go into your preferences, and that's going to give us this preference window. This is what we went into when we changed the look of our Calibre, made it all cute. That's this window. So I'm going to go to add your own column, and since I've already done it, there's my genre, but I'm going to do it. So we're just going to do it together. So I'm going to give it a different name though. So I'm going to call it, right here, I'm going to do under lookup name, I'm going to do hashtag genre, and then, but I'm going to call it genre 2 because I don't want to mess up my other one. Now, the other thing you have to do is we're going to make it a hierarchy, and you'll see why in a second. So column type, I'm going to change it to, see how the second one is comma separated text like tags shown in the tag browser? I'm going to click that, okay? So I'm going to click OK. Oh, it's not going to take it, but okay. So I'm going to call it something else. I'm going to call it Murphy. For no reason. I'm just calling it Murphy because I'm going to delete it anyway. But, all right, so, but you saw where I changed this to comma separated text like tag, show, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm going to tell it okay. How's Murphy already used? Oh, the lookup name. Gosh, dog it. Okay, all right. Look, make your lookup name genre. I have to change mine. So I'm going to just make it hashtag Murphy. For all the love. Can y'all tell we're doing this on the fly? Okay, so I guess it makes sense. It's got to be a unique lookup name. Okay, so now I'm going to tell it okay. And now look, I have the Murphy column with the comma separated whatever. And it tells me it's a new column. Okay, let's apply that. Restart Calibre. We just have to do one more thing, and here it is. I'm going to go back into settings, so back Calibre preferences, not settings, preferences, sorry. And I'm going to go to look and feel. And now I'm going to go to see tag browser right here. I'm going to go to that. And I'm going to go to hierarchy and searching. And I'm going to make sure whatever you're calling it, so you're going to call yours genre, obviously not Murphy, but I might leave Murphy in there just for fun, but I'm going to click it so that now it sets up a hierarchy. I'm going to tell it apply. Oh, it doesn't make me redo it again. Okay. So now look what I have. All right, we're going to ignore Murphy, but under genre, I can now sort my books by genre. And look, you don't have to do all your books. I have a couple. I have rom-coms, and here's where the hierarchy comes in. So I have rom-coms, and then I have Emily Henry rom-coms, because y'all, Queen Emily gets her whole own subheading. And now under Queen Emily, I should have done this backwards, but under Queen Emily, I now also have drama, because you cannot convince me that Great Big Beautiful Life is a rom-com. That's literary drama, but it's okay. It don't matter. So if I decide that I want to read a rom-com, I can go to my rom-com subheading. But if I want to read an Emily Henry rom-com, I can go to my Emily Henrys, and you can do this a couple of different ways. So I just started doing this, so my books aren't really sorted, but let's go back to authors. And now you can see I've got my genre thing kind of spread out where I can get to my rom-coms. Watch what I can do. I can either, let's find a rom-com that's not an Emily Henry. Let's do Lucy Score. So I can either go to my genre column and put in romance rom-com, or I can just drag them over to my romance rom-com. Now, I didn't say any of this. I got so excited about Emily Henry. The heading isn't going to exist until you put a book in there. So let's do, I already did rom-coms. Let's call this, I don't know if this is right or not, but let's call this suspense. And I can go back and change it. But so you see I'm in my genre thing, so I'm just going to do suspense. And let's say I want to make so that's going to be my main heading. And let's say I want to call it thriller. So now watch. I have suspense over here now, and then under suspense I have thriller. So I can drag my books into suspense, comma, thriller, and look. Oops. See the numbers going up? How snaz is that? I know, right? Oh my gosh, y'all, the intern just called me and I sent him to voicemail because I was talking to y'all. So I was just about to call him back and he sent me a text that said, blah, blah from his work, is getting chainsaw out of inside garage. Don't shoot him. We love our intern. Anyway, okay, so I think that's the last thing I was going to show us today. I think that genres and tags, genres I think is huge because so you can have a book in multiple different genres. Like I might actually, you know what? I might actually do put Great Big Beautiful Life in rom-coms and in drama. So you see, it doesn't actually move it. They're not folders. They're just subheadings. So to my way of thinking, what's good about this is, one, if you're like, ugh, I'm so in the mood for a serial killer vampire romance, if you have a serial killer vampire romance subheading in your genres, you can go in there and flip through your serial killer vampire romances and find the one you want to read. Or if somebody's like, hey, I'm looking for a rom-com, what do you recommend? You can do that. And it's the way that your brain works. So if you think that Great Big Beautiful Life is a drama, stick it in dramas. If you think it's a rom-com, stick it in rom-coms. It's your caliber. It's your subheadings. Now, you can do that with tags, but books often come in tagged. So you have to go back in and like sort of untag them and change stuff, which I know a lot of people do that, but a lot of people don't. So regardless of what it's tagged, you can put it under whatever genre you want. So I just think that's super slick. And the other thing that I remembered when we were doing this, I remembered that somebody asked me about, I think what they were asking was how I got my columns to look this way, like with the colors. And it's super easy. It's just back in that preferences menu, y'all, this look and feel thing, I know we talked about this in that other, like the deep dive, how to make your Calibre super cute video, but it's in here. It's columns and coloring. And you can go in and change how your columns look, or like, obviously like what colors they are, or like how the colors change based on like if a book has tags or doesn't have tags or like whatever. So that's in column coloring. All right, let me switch back over here and talk to y'all like humans because I think that is it for my frequently asked questions. At least that's it for the questions that I was able to find when I went back through and dug through my comments and dug through my notes, looking for where I had jotted down questions when y'all asked them. So hopefully I answered your question. I got a bunch of questions about highlights, how to transfer like books with highlights and notes and keep those books keep those highlights and notes intact and then transfer them out to different devices. And there was a plugin called Highlights that used to work really well for that. Well, with recent updates to Calibre, that's been broken. It hasn't worked in a while. So I've been looking for a workaround to that. And apparently there are some, but I just haven't been able to get them to work. So I'm working on Highlights. But other than that, if you have questions that I didn't answer, drop them in the comments and I will answer them if I know. And if not, I'll try to figure them out and get back to you. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over on Fit Danielle Eats the beginning of every week, with some book videos over here sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.